So, part of your assignment, just as it was in your label design, is going to be coming up with a mood board or basically doing your research and inspiration on your product. And again, always a good idea to do it because you want to make sure you're not showing a client something that is looks suspiciously like a package design from 5 or 10 years ago, or that's something that looks like one of their competitors. So, just as you did on your label design, we're going to go through the same steps here. So, for the demonstration here, I'm going to go on the assumption that I am redesigning the Wheaties cereal box. So, some of you may be familiar with it, an American classic cereal. So, I created this 4 artboard document in Illustrator, and your first board should really be all about your brand and its history. So, I went ahead just to save time and pulled all this stuff already. So, you can see the whole history of Wheaties packaging here. It was pretty plain back in the day here. Then they started adding illustrations. Now, the reason they used to use illustrations for the boxes is reproducing photography was kind of tricky back in the day, and it was easier to use illustrations. So here you can see some other illustrations, which they used up until the 80s. Now, here you can see some more recent ones. These two looks are kind of the current look, and I think it's really kind of striking. Using the bright orange, which has been Wheaties branding going back to the beginning of the company, but doing this very clean, pairing it with black and white. You'll remember that technique is one of the ones I showed you how to do on your second assignment in here. You'll also notice that starting probably in the 40s, they went with this kind of dimensional type that looks like it's kind of coming at you in 3D. It's been simplified and cleaned up over the years, but you can see they still use that. Now, with my design, am I going to keep those things? I don't know yet. I haven't really got that far, but branding is key. And when you have some things that have been with the history of the company from the beginning, when I do my designs on this, I'm going to think long and hard whether I need to keep the orange or whether I need to keep the dimensional type. Maybe sales have gone down and we want a whole new look, or maybe sales are hanging steady and we don't want to screw up something and risk alienating a loyal clientele. So page 1 on your research is going to be all about your brand, the history of the brand, anything you can find. If they have others, if you're doing, say, a tea and they have various flavors, you might want to include the packaging for the other flavors. Or if they have other products, you could include that as well. Page 2 should be all about competitors here, so do some research. Now, Wheaties fashions itself as being they've really geared their marketing towards, we're the cereal of serious athletes. So you'll notice I didn't include any of the kids' cereals in here. What I tried to do is focus on cereals that kind of are going head to head against Wheaties as a healthy option. And you can see the graphics here leave a lot to be desired. The Kellogg's, this is a newer branding, and it's kind of interesting they're doing this, and we'll talk more about this idea of billboarding, where you kind of wrap your logo or your branding around the sides of the 3-dimensional packaging in here. So I just wanted to get a selection. Now, I only put a few in here. More is always better, so if you want to make these smaller and really do a deep dive onto competitors or on the history of your company, you can do that. And then your last 2 pages, this is really for you for inspiration, anything you might use in here. So these are just some of the things that I pulled. Now, one of the things I was really interested in is doing a little history, because Wheaties is geared towards or has positioned themselves as kind of the cereal of athletes in training. I was really fascinated with a lot of the graphics that have been done over the years for the various Olympic Games, especially very famous posters by I'm blanking out the designer's name now. Otto Eichler, I believe. Anyhow, I love his graphics. These are from 1972. These are graphics from the Winter Games in Torino in 2006. I was also exploring some, maybe doing something with the Wheaties name. I immediately thought of the New York Knicks logo, probably because it has orange in it as well, but it's got dimension, but it's gone with a different shape. The Titans logo, I thought was interesting just because it's really flat and graphic. And then over here, I just pulled a lot of stuff that I thought I could get inspiration from. And you'll notice I did pull things for color palettes that still had orange in them. I really like this combination over here, which is from the photo. I pulled some type that I thought might be workable. This kind of outline inline type here, which is really kind of our go-to visual shorthand for college or for sports. It kind of looks like Letterman's jacket letters and whatnot. Or even this kind of customized sans serif type I thought might be interesting. And then I pulled, just to be fair, I've got Nike, I've got Adidas, but this whole idea of pattern, I thought maybe something I want to explore in my design. Now, am I going to use it? I don't know yet. It's too early in the design process, but when I start doing my thumbnails, I'm going to probably do at least one design that really features pattern in it. So I'm drawn to it. It may not work. You never know. That's what the thumbnail stage is for. And then I pulled some other Nike graphics here just with the big type. And I like this whole idea of black and one color and white, which I thought might be a natural extension from the existing Wheaties package. So once you get that all done, and again, if you want to do additional pages of research, more is always better. You can come down here and use the artboard tool. And I did these 8.5 by 11, so I'm drawing that just kind of guessing, because when I come up here, I can make it exact at the top here, not 111. So you can add additional pages. You can also, in the artboard tool, you can actually just hold the option key down and drag a copy off. So if you want to do, I'm requiring you to do 4 pages, but if you want to do additional, if you're really inspired, go ahead and do that. And then when you're done, you want to save this as a PDF, save as. Again, please use your last name and don't make me go hunting through email to find out who you are. All right, this is your 4th assignment. This is the second part of it, the research and inspiration, which we're going to call B. And then make sure you change this format. If you send me an Illustrator file, I will end up with a bunch of empty boxes on here. So make sure you save it as a PDF. Go ahead and hit save. And again, this file should be small enough that you can easily upload it to Canvas or send it through the class Gmail account.